After 30 years as a teacher, performer and producer, today I've compiled my most recommended classical guitars for beginners. So let's dive in and just see what guitars I've chosen. Hello and welcome back. My name's Andrew Keeping, and I'm going to ask you, have you or one of your children been wanting to learn to play the guitar and you've finally said, okay, let's just do it? Where do you start? What guitar should you buy? Should you buy a nylon string guitar, a steel string guitar, an acoustic, an electric, a hybrid guitar? There's so many different options out there. Now, most beginners start on a nylon string guitar, and the reason for that is because it's softer on the fingertips, it's more manageable to play, it's cheaper, and to be honest with you, when you first start out, you don't know if it's just going to be a flash in the pan, and you don't want to invest in something expensive, so you go for a cheaper option that you know it will last the test of time. And quite often that would be the nylon string or classical guitar, Spanish guitar it's also called. I must add before we start that none of the companies whose products I am recommending today have paid me or given me any free material to promote. These are my own feelings, my own thoughts and my own judgments, and they're recommendations based on my experiences from over 30 years of working as a teacher and performer. I am an Amazon influencer, which basically means that my viewers can purchase any of my recommendations from my Amazon page, and I'll put the link below. And this is for ease for you. Just click and buy. Amazon then give me a small percentage of their profit to help me create these information videos for you. You still buy the product at exactly the same price with no markup and no obligations. Of course, you can always look elsewhere for a better price if you so wish. Well, over the years, I've had many students turn up for lessons with instruments that are just not fit for purpose. Dodgy raised frets, constant buzzing, high action, low action, you name it, there's usually a problem. And this is because they've been sent guitars that really shouldn't have left the factory in the state they were in. So it makes the process of learning an instrument so much harder, and it's demoralizing. You just want to be able to play a guitar and be able to pick it up and play it and start learning and enjoying that passion that got you going in the first place. But if you've got an instrument that makes you sound rubbish, what is the point? So we really don't want you to give up. We want you to be enthused by this and keep going. So what do, I look for companies that produce off-the-shelf instruments that are robust, well constructed, immediately playable, and value for money. So they come in a variety of sizes to suit the 6 to 9 year old, which is a half size guitar. From the 9 to 11 year old would be about a 3/4 size, and then 11 plus would be a full-size instrument. So why nylon? Well, it's kinder on your fingertips, and its design has evolved and been passed down through the years, providing a warm, mellow and organic tone. You don't need any other gadgetry like amplifiers or pickups or pedals, etc. You just pick it up and play. So here are my recommendations. Number 1, Valencia Guitars. Valencia Guitars were first established in Melbourne, Australia in 1972, and their vision they wanted to reflect was to be able to provide young students with excellent quality and value for money guitars, making guitars that sound great and feel fantastic to play, and build guitars to the highest standards. Valencia is now #1 selling brand in many countries around the world. Thousands of music stores stock the guitars. Valencia Guitars are crafted in 3 southern China factories, and they've got their own purpose-built manufacturing plant in Indonesia as well. Now, one of the things that really impresses me is that their team of fully qualified guitar technicians oversees the quality control in their factories, and that is something that I want to see, that when they leave the factory, they turn up in exactly the same condition that they've left. when you look at the company's ethos, it's a very impressive approach, but in my experience, they do actually deliver. I've had probably over 100 students start on these guitars. Their resale value is good too. So, for example, if you want to sell on to another guitar after you've grown out of your half size or your 3/4 size, they sell on quite easily because people just want to buy them. I don't think I've ever had a dud one, and the students just love the look and the feel of them. Now, most of the Valencia guitars come in a selection of different versions. So you've got some in natural wooden colour, some black, some blue sunburst, some pink sunburst, purple sunburst, red sunburst, gloss finish. You know, all of that. They do left-handed guitars. Most guitars are right-handed, but they do left-handed guitars if it's something that you really want to go for. So the Valencia guitars are basically made up of 19 frets, which are nickel, and they come in various different sizes. So you've got the 3/4 and the full-size guitar in these. The half-size guitar is a scale length of 530 millimeters. The 3/4 is 580 millimeters, and the full size is 650 millimeters, which is a standard size. The nut width on the half size is 45 millimeter, meaning it's smaller for the hands and manages it better. The 3/4 size is 48 millimeters, and then the full standard size of 52 millimeters, or 2 1/16 inch for the nut width on the full size guitar. So the tops, back and sides on these guitars are linden, which is a laminated table. That's where you've got several woods that are fused together, glued together, just to make it very secure. So it's not a solid single piece of wood. It is a laminated table and a laminated back and sides. The neck is made out of NATO. The fingerboard is an ebonized maple. So what you're getting in this construction is a value for money, and they've been able to use the laminate to be able to keep the price down, and it feels good, it sounds good, it's a great starter guitar. When these guitars arrive, they arrive in a pretty sturdy box, but they've also got a gig bag or a guitar case. Now, you'd expect that to be the norm, but in fact, a lot of guitar manufacturers only send out a guitar in a box, and then you have to think of, oh, I've got to get the right case for this now. So that's just another area that I think is always worth considering. My second recommendation are the Ferrer guitars. These are designed for students by UK professional guitar teachers. They offer the beginner everything that they need to get started, so a good quality laminate body with figured finishing and a rosewood fingerboard in this case, and a nickel fretting. Their guitars are found in tens of thousands of homes, schools and music schools worldwide, and this is due to their easy playability and quality of workmanship. So very similar to the Valencia guitars. It's a matter of taste when you look at it. I don't have a preference, to be honest with you, between the two guitars. The Ferrer are probably a little more expensive and might be something that you want to take. If you're willing to spend a bit more money, you might feel that you want to go for the Ferrer instead of the Valencia. As you see as well, they come in all the standard sizes that I've mentioned previously. The scale lengths that I mentioned before are, again, standard scale lengths, and the nuts the same. So what you're looking for really when you're playing an instrument, the way that it works is you want to have a playability across the entire fretboard of the guitar. For young hands, small hands, or beginner hands as well, you just want to be able to feel that you can reach all the notes, and that's where the scale lengths are very important. And they do differ as well, so the gaps between the strings as well, that's where the nut and the width of the nut makes a difference. It helps to be able to clear strings, and whilst you're playing with more than one finger at a time on the guitar, if you're playing chords for example, you want to be able to have the spacing. That's where playing on an acoustic guitar sometimes is a little bit more difficult to get clean sound, because there is such a narrow gap between the strings, and that's why a lot of people favour starting out on a Spanish or nylon string guitar. My My third choice is the Admira Guitars. Now, these were founded in 1944 and one of the most popular and biggest selling Spanish guitar brands in the entire world, I would say. They're still family rooted in Spain with their manufacturing workshops based in northern Spain. The process of manufacturing a classical guitar does not easily lend itself to the kind of automation often used in instrument production today, so they still pride themselves on the vast majority of their stock being finished by hand. Admira have a wide selection of instruments ranging from the beginner student to the intermediate student, hybrid guitars up to the concert platform at prices to match. So these guitars have got a great design using top quality materials and manufacturing processes. So their body, on the top they use an Oregon pine which produces a more warm tone, and the backs and sides are sapelli. The neck is a mahogany and the fingerboard is a rosewood. So the machine heads, you get the lyre design nickel, and they're all better quality machine heads, so it's a smoother action on them. And the bridge is rosewood, and they come with a gloss over the wood as well. So now, interestingly, I thought I would include in this the solid body Malaga model that they have. Now, what does solid body means? It means that it comes from one single piece of wood that is split and opened like a butterfly to produce the body, rather than the laminated body. And this gives you a consistent tone across the entire table of the guitar, and also it resonates in a very different way, so you get a warmer, smoother tone. And with this beautiful pine that they use on the Malaga, it's a great instrument, but that comes in at a higher price bracket at £240, so it's probably better suited to the adult enthusiast that would really appreciate something a little bit more high-end from the beginner market. My final recommendation is probably the instrument that most adult beginners have purchased over all the years of my teaching, and there's a good reason for that. It's Yamaha's C40 Mark II and the C70. The C40 Mark II is an excellent option and is a little bit higher in price than the other models, and it's an obvious recommendation for me. Starting at around £105, this instrument has great playability. It has a solid construction, it's versatile and responsive, and produces a good quality sound from its ergonomic design. I think this is great value for money and has not changed its price point for so many years. And that, again, that impresses me as somebody who's going to recommend instruments for a school or for a music club. These are the instruments that I frequently recommend because they're durable. It has a spruce top and a construction that projects a really lovely warm tone, a rosewood fretboard, and the 3/4 size model has 580mm scale length, same as the others, for a slightly smaller hand, and the full size, the standard 650mm scale length for hands around 11 plus, as I've stated before. Now, these instruments have an accurate and consistent fret positioning, which produces a really good intonation all across the strings and in all positions. Now, intonation is the tuning. That's where if you've got a fret that's slightly out of position or not consistent across the fretboard, you will get tuning problems. And these are the sort of, if you buy a cheap guitar off eBay or a cheap guitar off Amazon, quite often the fretting hasn't been set up exactly right, and so when you come to the higher positions on the guitar, it has a very different tuning. It's either sharp or it's flat, and you really don't want that when you come to playing an instrument for the longevity. Now, I've also thrown in here one of my favorite recommendations, the Yamaha C70. My view is that I think every school that uses a guitar should have a C70 in it as one of their performing guitars. It's durable, it's really comfortable. I've got one of these for throwing in the back of my car for camping trips and holiday trips where I need to practice or just jam with friends, really, without having to take my concert guitars or my studio guitars. I use this as I like the sound, the feel, and I don't have to be too precious about it. And this is a big deal. I can put it in a case. If I'm going on holiday on a plane, I can put it in a case, and more often than not, they will let me put it in the compartments above the seats in a cabin. So that's really cool. Those students that have bought these in the past never sell them on. They become a part of the furniture and a much loved friend. Now, I totally understand that there are many other really good guitars out there at this sort of entry level. And I'd love to hear your recommendations, your thoughts on this. What do you think of the guitars that I've suggested? Post your comments below. We're here as a community, so we're all feeding off each other. And that's the whole point of this video, is to be able to hear what you're saying, but also get some really good choices out there for people. And sometimes there are too many choices. So that's why I've limited mine to 4 brands that I feel are consistently good. I will include links to 2 of my other videos that I've produced that would work well alongside this one. One is how to check a guitar before buying, or when it turns up at your door, check it before committing yourself to that purchase. And the second is a beginner's guide to buying the right guitar. So I hope you found this useful. And if you have, leave a comment below. That'd be lovely to hear your comments. And I would love you to put a like on it if you have liked it. If you haven't, well, I'm sorry. I will try harder next time. In the meantime, please subscribe and check out my reviews, tutorials, interviews, and many different information videos that are designed to help you make good choices about the subject that you're passionate about. So until next time, I look forward to seeing you. All the best. Bye.